CNN spent dusk till dawn. Oh no, sorry, dawn till dusk on LA's Skid Row. Here's what life is like. Will you permit a hometown Los Angelian, a Los Angelino, as one might say, if they weren't stupid, to take a look at what the f they're talking about here?
And I look younger.
Warning: disturbing content. YouTube, you wouldn't demonetize a boy wearing glasses, would you? I don't think it would do that much for the administration. I think, if anything, it would cause them problems. If they invoked the Insurrection Act and then they had a bunch of difficulties where, like, National Guardsmen are arresting... For one, have you guys seen any evidence that the National Guard is hyped up about this administration? Because I haven't.
Guys, you're only about 45 fucking years old. Guys, sir.
Do I actually care about watching this?
Sir.
Cabbage Patch Doll, Olympic cabbage. In some areas of my life.
We came for a day to find out what it's like to live here, who lives here, and why Skid Row even exists. The origin,
the police,
train station. Soon, the power washers move in.
It's now like 8:30 in the morning.
Oh,
what's your plan for the day?
Pretty much I read, I keep books. I have a puzzle book. I like to do puzzles. Sometimes I go to the library. Sometimes I get on the bus and I ride out and I think.
How are you? Good morning.
She looks like she's got a little store going.
Yeah, she does. She has a store here. She sells drinks to everyone here.
I remember you.
Yeah,
Where did I see you?
it was at the police station.
Well, then Lincoln, Laura Capello.
That's right.
To trace substantial funds in an annual budget of roughly $2.3 billion.
And people that are honest with me, when we get into their story, I ask them, so when did you start using? And some of them, that's why they came down here, but there's a large percentage.
Dropped off at School on Wheels, which runs an after-school program here.
Where'd you go? Yeah.
School on Wheels is one of the bright spots in an area.
Stanford, they stabbed him.
How are the days? How are the nights? I mean, what's...
Well, I mean, it's a little rough. I got hit in the head with a propane tank. And
You got
That's
hit in the head with
true.
the propane
Yeah,
tank.
yeah.
You seem remarkably casual about
yeah,
it.
well, I'm a gangster. 15 years sober before I relapsed. You know, I was 15 years. I was.
You were 15 years sober, and then after you relapsed, is that when you ended up
Yeah.
on the street?
I came here on purpose. Kind of like it down here, but
What do you love about it?
my friends and family are here. I mean, most of them passed away.
What happened that led you to be on the street?
I've battled like mental health issues from a young age, and then COVID, of course. I expended so much energy trying to maintain and keep afloat, and then yeah, the wheels kind of just fell off. And
I've only just met you, but you seem like too gentle a soul to be surviving.
It's Hollywood, you know? I could turn the corner and come back in 10, 15 minutes having psyched myself out in the mirror and splashed a little water on my face, and all of a sudden you're looking at a brand new character. Stay dangerous. If you can't stay safe, stay dangerous.
Couldn't you just move back and live with your mom or your aunt, or?
I self-medicated, and both of my parents are doctors, so there's a lot of friction just in that dynamic alone.
Okay. Mental health is the underlying
Yeesh.
issue.
That's the big issue. Anybody who don't want to go live inside, it's got to be something here. Until we can address the mental health part of this thing, it's an uphill battle. Anytime you see people walk down the street naked with a machete in their hand, you know it's a problem.
It's going to get dark here shortly. I
Naked.
presume we should not be here.
People think after dark, all the ills that happen is from the people who are living here, but it's more of the people who don't live here that
Told
come
you that.
and use the people here to do
Like
nefarious,
dealers.
dealers, gangs, whatever,
Uh-huh.
thieves, whatever, you know, trafficking of all different sorts.
Do you ever see this place going away?
Can it happen? Yes.
It could literally be done. Like, it's just a matter of will, and there's plenty of money in Los Angeles to do it.
But it seems like it's so far away.
We've been here more than 12 hours. We got a taste, but not the reality, because we get to go home.
Put them in a house easy. Just build a big roof over Skid Row, and then nobody's homeless. Yeah. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, what was the section here where they talked about money disappearing? I was curious about that. Hold on.
It found insufficient financial accounting.
23 years.
23 years?
Yeah.
Are you trying to get a permanent house?
Yeah, I'm trying to get a permanent house. The vouchers don't look that good because might not be no funds behind it, you know, you never know.
Billions of dollars are earmarked to fight homelessness in Los Angeles, but a recent audit found insufficient financial accountability led to an inability to trace substantial funds.
Yeah, it's corrupt. It all goes to like slumlords and bureaucrats. This is one of those things that the abundance people would talk about more often if they weren't hacks, which is that a bunch of the money that gets sucked up for public works projects or like housing first policies for homeless people or whatever else, it gets sucked up by like a labyrinthine chain of bureaucratic requirements that can only be satisfied by pouring in like an infinite amount of money into the problem. It does not cost billions of dollars to build like a bunch of affordable housing. It just doesn't. If the government just decided on its own to fund the construction of a bunch of apartment blocks and then ensure that every one of those apartment blocks is like a $500 a month tiny little studio or whatever, they could do that. That would not be difficult for them to do. It's very possible for them to do it. But it has to go through like 17 layers of public-private partnership first. All the contractors have to make money. Yeah, all the lawsuits. Maura Capellum, I saw the first 2 times you linked it.
In an annual budget of roughly $2.3 billion.
Jesus.
What do you do for money to buy food and stuff?
Okay, I recycle. You see all the cans and stuff.
Okay.
Federal judge even considered taking control of the homelessness budget away from officials. Ricky won't move into a shelter.
I don't like being around all.
And by the way, when they say insufficient accountability and nobody knows where the money went, that's also a lie. You could find out where the money went. Everything with a bit of reporting and a bit of investigation, you can find out like every chain of the step. Money doesn't literally disappear. You just followed it like with insufficient dedication. You know? Find out all the contracting firms, all the lawyers, all the bureaucrats, where that money went.
People. I wouldn't want to be in an area with some of the people that's in there because a lot of them are mental.
What do you think should happen? I mean, these people need somewhere to live, right?
No, they need to fucking get them off the drugs.
But we're told by several people that there's a non-profit giving out free crack pipes.
Yo!
I can understand the needles, but they're giving away the stuff to keep the people getting high.
I almost feel you'd have to be taking drugs or drinking alcohol to live here.
You know,
in a way. I mean, I know that sounds weird.
You know, and people that are honest with me, when we get into their story, I ask them, so when did you start using? And some of them, that's why they came down here. But there's a large percentage that said, Paul, I never did drugs. I never stole anything until I got down here. I do things to kill the pain or to try to survive.
Much of
Probably shouldn't be giving homeless people crack pipes. Like the needle thing is the clean needles so they're not like spreading HIV or whatever, but the probably shouldn't be giving homeless people crack pipes. Probably not. Probably don't need to do that.
LA's homelessness is concentrated here. Officials say the numbers are falling.
They had
We need boarding houses back, man. That's the real that boarding houses used to be in every city, every major city in the world, okay? And it was where, like, desperate people, poor students, whatever, like anyone who didn't have the money for anything else. And these were, like, tiny little, I mean, these could be, oftentimes they're multiple people to a room, but nowadays you can make it like a single 400 square foot, like, studio apartment, just pack them in like sardines, and make sure everyone there has to pay no more than, like, $400 a month or whatever. Or, I don't know, free with some, I don't fucking care, whatever. Just make it cheap. Have some way of making sure it helps homeless people and it's not being filled with, like, students who all want to do videos about how they cram all their clothing into the small space they're given. The decline of boarding houses in the US is due to zoning laws. That's why they still exist in Japan. Masaigu, can you just... I need you to do this for me. You need to make correct points without saying Japan good. Because you never do Japan bad in the opposite way. We're never talking about, like, misogyny, and you're like, yeah, misogyny is a huge problem. There are lots of rapists and pedophiles here in Japan. Like, you don't do that, you know? You can do that too? You can mention the Japanese pedophile. Okay, gotcha. I just need you to balance it out a little bit, okay?
homeless count not long ago, and they said the numbers was going down. we don't believe that the number is going down.
According to a recent independent count, the numbers sleeping out on the streets fell significantly in 2 other hotspots last year, Hollywood and Venice, but climbed here on Skid Row.
Great. Yeah, it's pretty bad. The problem is you need to be able to compel mentally ill people into treatment, but nobody wants to do that. I want to do it. Oh, for sure. I'm 100% in favor of like forced. Even Mamdani has said he supports this, of forced detention for habitual addicts. 100% I am. Yeah. It's not like the old days, man. Like back in the 1920s and 1930s, the most shit you could find a person on was like fucking alcohol or whatever. Like the homeless drug addicts were alcoholics, or maybe they had like an opium pipe or something. Nowadays, you I don't know, eat 1 microgram of fentanyl and then you fall face first onto the street and lay there, and all the tourists have to walk over you. It's insane. It's gotten a lot worse. The availability and purity of and severity of drug addictions, it's all gotten worse, you know? I'm in favor of compulsive treatment 100%. Well, I agree in spirit, doesn't that lead to bad things? Well, I don't think it should be federally mandated. It would have to be done as like a local program, but like realistically a lot of these people are in and out of jails anyway, you know? I would just if they're going to spend some time in a tank, I would rather it not be a jail cell. It should be in like a clean white room where somebody in like a you know, smocks is like, here's some water, you know, fucking, do you need a detox or whatever? I don't know. Also called mental asylums. No, mental asylums are meant to be long-term. I'm talking about like treatment facilities that are meant to be temporary, you know? We fill up our hospital beds with shit like that. You don't need a hospital for a person who's a drug addict. Like, well, maybe if they've had an overdose, of course, if they've had an overdose. But for a person who's just a habitual addict, they don't need to take up a valuable, expensive hospital bed. You know, they can just like be put in like a little room for a bit and chill. What are the criteria? I'm not writing the law right now. Look, it's not a crazy thing. Yeah, if a person is like a habitual on the street addict, like, yeah, I'm like, listen, your ability to take control over your own life, I'm compromising it for the sake of the social contract here, you know? Why are free needles good and crack pipes not? You can still spread illness like herpes and maybe even HIV too if their mouth is bleeding. Okay, because it just seems like, I don't know, there's like a sliding scale of utility here, right? Like the needle thing makes sense because otherwise they would just use dirty needles. But I think that people tend to keep their own crack pipes, don't they? Like if they're a crack addict, you probably have the pipe on you. So it feels like it's enabling, I don't know, it seems like less of a, everyone has herpes anyway, I don't fucking. A lot of non-profit halfway houses charge the state like $200 to do a pee test that costs $8. Yeah, 100%. It needs to be run directly by the state. It's all like graft the whole way through, you know? I don't have herpes. Now you do. Nah, I'm kidding. I actually don't have it. I know a lot of people do, though. I don't get cold sores. I'm telling you, boarding houses and temporary treatment facilities, and you would be set. Like that would, you could build these cheap in every city and that would about fix the problem. And I mean like a proper boarding house. I mean you build like a 5-story apartment building and then you fit like 300 people in there or something. Just cram them in. Not everyone gets a window. Life's hard. Build them cheap, build them plentiful, and then make it so that the people who need them most are the ones who get them first. And you got it, you know? They're not meant to be here permanently. They're meant to be, it's a sturdy room with a heavy lock on the door that only you can access. They're called jails in the U.S. Well, you can leave. It's not a jail. You can leave. No windows is not great. I'm just talking about, you know, bottom denominator stuff, okay? I think that most homeless people would probably choose if they could. Okay, fine. You can have a window. Fine, you can have a window. Fine. It's a jail? It's not a jail! I think it's a good idea, but I don't trust the average employee that would work in this facility to not abuse them. I mean, this shouldn't even, the boarding room shouldn't even have, like, staff, basically. Like, the boarding rooms, they're a house that you live in, just a teeny tiny little apartment building room, you know? Like, the staff are just there to make sure that no one's getting rowdy or whatever. Are you trolling brothers to jail? Are you trolling me? A jail is a cell that you can't leave. This is a room you can go in and out of freely, and it's your room. The number one thing that homeless people need, or the 2 number one things, the number 1 and number 2 thing that homeless people need, fuck you, is a bed to sleep in under a roof and a place to securely put their stuff. That's it. That right there is like 90% of shit. Okay? They can survive having a communal toilet. They can survive a bunch of stuff, you know. If you put that many homeless people together, it'd be hell and many would prefer the street. But this isn't a homeless shelter. I'm talking about a boarding house, not a homeless shelter. These are separate rooms where you own the room. Well, you don't own it, but you are an occupant of the room. We used to do these all over the place in cities. We just stopped doing it because of those aforementioned zoning requirements. You don't have to make them shared bedrooms like this. But the point is, it's just a bedroom. It's just like a studio. There's no kitchen. The bathrooms are shared. So like a college dorm? Yeah, like a college dorm. The only place where we still do anything like boarding rooms. But yeah, you would have that. Shelters are totally different. Shelters are not like apartments. Shelters have a bunch of restrictive rules. Oftentimes they don't let you in during the day. They're very dehumanizing. The people there are often awful. They can barge into the rooms whenever they want. This would be a residence. Shelters also don't allow pets. Yeah, you have to allow pets as well. A lot of homeless people have dogs. Dorms I've been to have been really dehumanizing and have had 4 people in one room. Well, this would be 1 person per 1 room. I mean, if you want to go in as a couple, I guess you can. But these would be 1 person per room. Anyway, like this is just basic housing first stuff. Just slam them in there, slap them in, fill it like sardines in a can, and then you get treatment facilities, temporary treatment facilities, and you got it. You got it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, folks. Wouldn't it be better to just tear down the walls and live communally? Yeah, why not tear down the roof? Then you can have the innate joy and relaxation of living on the street. So a homeless shelter, lol? No. Oh wait, I think you were replying to them, not to me. It is kind of crazy that a lot of people don't understand the difference between a studio apartment, a homeless shelter, a boarding house, and a jail, though. Like, I guess all of you just think of, like, small room equals prison. I don't know where the fuck you live out in suburbia, but, hostel? Hostels also have their own rules. Permanent address is also huge. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. You see how a town in Canada tried to buy tiny homes for the homeless and got grifted? What?
Hamilton, Canada, what are you up to, bud?
This is not a format of video that I'm particularly keen on.
Not great. We're trying to fight homelessness, and it is not going well.
What happened?
So we wanted to help 80 people by buying 40 tiny homes from an indigenous company, and then we bought those 40 tiny homes for $35,000 a piece. Little problem, we didn't check if it was an indigenous company. Doesn't appear to be at all. Also, those
Why is he talking like this? Is this what people like these days?
$35,000 tiny homes, apparently you could buy them on Alibaba for $1,600 a piece.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, so you don't want us to support indigenous businesses?
No, just if you want to buy from indigenous businesses, check.
Anyway, a lot of the sheds still haven't arrived, even though we paid over a 2,000% markup on it.
You spent $1.4 million on sheds.
I can do math. I can do math. I can do math. I can do math.
Sheds that are worth 60.
You don't want to help the unhoused?
Okay, yeah, okay. Thank you. This was not... Please, in the future, don't present this to me in this format. Bosch sounds good, but like that other chatter said, shelters are miserable places because they quickly dissolve into a sterile place with rigid rules built incident by incident. The same would happen here. Okay, listen. No, it wouldn't, because shelters have specific rules on the rooms in the shelter. The boarding rooms that I'm talking about, this house that I'm describing, this facility, is literally just an apartment. It's just an apartment. There are no like extra rules that they would have legal permission to impose on people. It's not like a shelter or what. They couldn't barge into your room. They can't mandate you do or don't do anything. It would just be an apartment with a bunch of small rooms. No one can force you to pray. No one can demand you show up for daily breakfast or anything. It's just a house. And this is just for homeless people? I mean, anyone who needs it, I suppose. Like college dorms. Am I looping right now? Am I going back? Where am I? Hello? Maybe occasionally a caseworker comes by and that's it. I think you could probably reasonably impose like some rules to make sure there aren't people who are super mentally ill who are like pissing all over the walls or whatever. There were probably some like provisions or expectations, but I would expect all of this to be paid for and maintained by the state. And if you did it properly, like imagine you had an apartment building that had 300 or 400 needy people living in it. How much reasonably do you think that would cost, assuming that the government worked at like on price contractor agreements? You know what I mean? Like they're not paying inflated government prices. They're just operating as they would if they were a regular business, you know? I don't think it would even be that much. Could be expensive bearing in mind maintenance. Well, you know what's also expensive? Having a bunch of homeless people turn some of the potentially most expensive downtown blocks of Hollywood and downtown Los Angeles into shitholes because the city doesn't care enough about them to, like, the amount that it would cost to house all these people is significantly less than the property values that these areas would be in Skid Row, East Hollywood, and so on, if they were taken care of properly. So from a monetary perspective, it still works out in our favor. Yes, it also does reduce the load in public welfare systems. And there will still be some homeless people who are too crazy and can't be helped, and for them we can put them in the scary asylum up on the hill that lightning is always flashing behind, okay? Straight jacket and all? Yeah, sure. Doesn't need to be scary? It can be scary. It's fine if it's scary. It doesn't matter if it's scary. I think it needs to be scary. Okay, it needs to be scary.